I'm with my friend Michael Goldberg, who is my go-to guy when it comes to all things networking. I've known Michael for over 25 years, and every time I'm with him, I learn something. I learn a lot from his writings. He publishes regularly in his newsletter. He is a frequent speaker at events of all types in the financial services industry. He's done some things that I find fascinating, that some of which tie back to his fascination with boxing. You can see in the background, he's being interviewed from Madison Square Garden here, right, Mike? That's where we are, Madison Square Garden.
Or the green screen that makes it look like it's Madison Square Garden, yes.
You've branded Knockout Networking. So one of the things that I know you have a passion for is taking advantage of the new technology. And the new technology is not exactly new because we've had the capability of doing Zoom meetings in different forms. There's been WebEx, GoToMeeting, Skype, but now people are starting to use this technology, video technology, in concert with a phone as part of their networking strategy. Can you give some tips on the best way to think about using technology for maximum benefit?
Well, I like to joke with my 17-year-old daughter that, make a phone call. There's an app for that. Right? So, really, there is? I didn't realize that. But it's true. So here, the phone has been at our disposal, for forever, right? Pretty much. So that it maybe rings a different tune. I know I'm on the phone more than I have been. But, we've had the technology in front of us for a bunch of years, less years on the phone, of course, called LinkedIn, called Zoom, called whatever WebEx or GoToMeeting type of platform that we use. And I think it's about being creative in terms of how we can utilize this because, we are more conditioned than ever because of this whole COVID-19 thing that we're dealing with, in that we're able to actually be in touch with more people. We're actually able to communicate with more people than we ever have if we're creative enough to look at it that way and have a plan for making some of those things happen. So, we're zoomed out right now, but this is good, right? This is really good because, now we're busier than ever, and depending on what your business is, but it's a question of how clever you are in utilizing the technology. What I share with financial advisors, who are typically my clients, is if you've never done a webinar before, now is the time to learn how to do that, as compliance might allow you to do that. Like, this is the time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's right. One of the things is you have to learn how to use the technology. So you have to practice. The second thing, you say be creative. It is interesting. You've done some things which I think are very creative to try to promote networking using Zoom. Do you want to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, well, networking is about learning and helping, right? That's my interpretation. It's about a proactive approach to meeting people to learn and potentially help them, although often enough it can be reactive, right? But I think that when we're in this place right now where we're working from our home offices or dining room tables, it's really about taking a proactive approach. So it's now thinking about how we can be clever about setting up meetings with people. And I think one of the easiest ways of doing that, well, twofold. One is, who are your top 50 most important people, like in your business world? That might be clients, prospects, or referral partners, and reaching out to them. And this could just be a simple email to engage in a Zoom meeting or whatever your favorite platform might be. And of course, there's an app for that. It could be the phone. The other approach is LinkedIn, is now people that you don't know or don't know well that you want to know, right? And reaching out to those folks on LinkedIn and throwing a direct message at them, or maybe it's people that you're already first level connection with. And if there's a reason to engage in a meeting, and it shouldn't be to sell them business, it should be that we fish in the same ponds. We're looking to meet a lot of the same people. We do similar work, perhaps. Would love to be able to maybe get on a Zoom meeting or get on a call, set up some time where we can compare notes and figure out how we might help one another. Like, those are great meetings, right? And that's just being very, very proactive and cultivating appointments on our calendar and perhaps people that we're meeting that we wouldn't have otherwise.
One of the things that, if you were adventurous as a banker, the first step might be to do a Zoom meeting with one person, pick somebody friendly who's inclined to do it. you've also pioneered, I think, some meetings of larger groups of people using Zoom.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, one thing that I have done, which is one of my favorite things to do, is I have another organization. So I've got a speaking and training company called Knockout Networking, where I teach networking skills. But I also have another company called the Networking Group. And it actually is that. It's as obvious as a ham sandwich, right? The Networking Group. So I have groups in New York City and Philadelphia, on Long Island, New Jersey, and I'm in the process this month of launching Chicago, South Florida, and Atlanta. And if it wasn't for Zoom, I would not be able to launch all these cities at the speed that I'm able to do this. So what I'm doing is I'm getting a multitude of people in Zoom meetings and having them register for an actual networking event. And I'm facilitating this event online where I'm looking at 60, 70, 80 people on a screen. And then I'm breaking them up into Zoom rooms according to their professions and putting them in a networking activity. And what's cool is they find value out of it because I'm organizing the whole thing. It's very strategic, and they want more. So there's now a business model where they are paying a fee for me to be able to do that for them. And I'm replicating this around the country right now. So as a banker, you can just do this. You can do it with 5 people. You can do it with 10 people. It doesn't have to be 80. But it's something you can do, and it's free.
Well, I think that's a great idea. And if people listen to this and decide that this is something they want to test out, you probably would be interested in them participating in a group, and you might also be somebody that could coach them on how they could set this up.
No doubt about it. And you don't need to be the most technologically savvy person. I'm not. I mean, I know Zoom really well, but I'm not like this tech guy, but I just learned how to use the system in a way where I think I'm able to do a lot of creative things. And it's also in a position to help a lot of people that are willing to pay me to do those creative things. That ain't bad.
So I'm with my friend Michael Goldberg, who is